the South African Council of Churches gathered religious leaders, members of the IEC, the South African Police Service and political parties for a day of prayer ahead of the elections. The call was for a peaceful electoral process, and now post those elections, the SACC has extended its gratitude to citizens of the country for demonstrating a commitment to democracy. The SACC's Reverend Mzwandile Molo joins us to reflect on the overall management of the elections and what some could term a political T-junction we find ourselves at as a nation, with no political party having received an outright majority. Good evening, Reverend, and thank you very much for your time. So you have issued a statement post the release of those election results, stating that the process of voting, counting, as well as announcing the results in a peaceful environment demonstrates the maturation of South Africa's democracy. Talk us through your observations throughout that electoral process.
Good evening, and good evening to the listeners, to the viewers. Indeed, South African Council of Churches had, and through the working with the National Dialogue for the National Initiative for Dialogue, NFDI, that makes up of many of our foundations nationally, mounted what we call an observation mission. That was more than 400 people who were spread throughout the country. Based on our call and our prayer for peace, the report we have received from those people who observed elections on our behalf is one in which we give honor to South African people who got out there in their millions and voted. We secondly give honor to political parties who observed and campaigned in a peaceful manner. We regret the reported deaths of some people, but overall the election was peaceful. We give honor to the police service because our observers observed they did their work professionally. And ultimately we give honor to the IEC for the manner in which it led us as it was administering this unique election that we have not had in the past because of the number of political parties and also the uniqueness of the need to include independent observers. They did their work professionally. There were glitches. There were things that need attention, but our view is that they've done their work in a manner that gives credibility to the work that they've done.
Now that you touch on the issues of glitches, the IEC has conceded that there were challenges in some voting stations, from the voter management devices not working to some stations opening late, and a number of other issues around the counting of votes that some political parties have raised. So any learnings there that you believe they should take?
We as the SACC indeed did observe, and FDI, to our observers, we did observe that the DMDs were not functioning in the stations. That caused a little bit of a delay from our people that made sure the queues were too long. And that kind of created a sense of anxiety in some voting stations where I myself, I would spend some time at Joburg Park voting station, where I observed and I could see the anxiety that some of our people were feeling. But with explanation and with the thing that they make them allowed to know that the manual voting system is the foundation of all the voting that we do. It allowed our people then to gain some confidence in it and participate, albeit for longer periods of time and with some little bit of anxiety that was allayed with the work that was done. That needs attention. Indeed, the professionalism of and the knowledge of some of the personnel of the IEC needs to be improved because some of the people did not seem to know what to do when things were not going right. But those are lessons that we believe can be taken on board, and they can then, the IEC has committed itself to learn lessons that are going to make a difference. In our conversation with IEC, we were also assured that the issue of the technology, which is also a legacy of 2019, is one that they are seriously considering so that in the next elections of 2026, we do not find ourselves in the same difficulty.
Now, Reverend, despite the snaking queues, voter turnout was lower than in 2019 by at least 1.5 million people. Your views on just this? We, as the SACC, indeed raised this matter. We raised this matter as a challenge to the whole nation. That the numbers were supposed to be 27 million people who registered to vote, and only 16 or so came out, and more than a million less than the last time. It is an area of concern that we want to say all of us as society needs to find a way to activate our people, especially younger people, to participate in the voting and deciding of our future.
The more our people participate, the more credibility the results get. And we appeal to all of our people, despite the cynicism and even the anger that the last 30 years might have generated amongst our people, we firmly believe voting is a sacred task that we must all take on board. And therefore, we call on all of us. It's not an IEC reality only. It's not a political party reality only. It is a national concern that must all work together to build up a higher number of participation in the electoral vote, because the vote is the foundation of all our decisions of the nation.
And indeed, because, I mean, we celebrated the milestone of having 27 million registered voters. So I suppose for many it was somewhat disappointing. But then you went on to say in your statement that we now all stand as witness to the true meaning of the will of the people, as the results demonstrate a call for collaboration. What is your message to the political parties, though, as they continue with these very difficult negotiations that some say presents both opportunities as well as risks if not handled well?
Our message to our political parties is simply this. Our people have given all of you the enormous collective responsibility to shape our future together. It is clear from the results that no single political party has been given a government mandate, and that calls upon all of them to put aside narrow party political interest and elevate to the core of their conversation how to structure a governance system that brings our people together, that no voter feels left out because those people that they trusted are unfairly left out, that everybody believes that they do the work that they are doing together in a serious manner to unite our people. The result of that negotiation is not for one political party to win over the other. It is a message that we must get, that all of us as South Africans see who we are in the governance system of our country. That allows them to respect what our wishes are. The truth is, the challenge for South Africa is not who is the next president, who is the next minister of this or that, or who is the speaker. The challenge in South Africa is the high levels of poverty, the high levels of gender-based violence, the education system that does not allow our people to wrestle out of poverty. All those things are the things that need to be at the center of our national conversation. We ask all our political parties to commit themselves to dealing with those issues rather than fighting on who is going to be the president or not president of the country.
Reverend, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's Reverend Mzwandile Molo of the South African Council of Churches.